perhaps exposing the real threat to the United States. The most telling examples of how the government has been infiltrated are sealed from public sight. The evidence that would expose the Muslim Brotherhood's jihad in America is kept in 80 bankers' boxes. The files are from the Holy Land Foundation trial. The Obama administration refuses to release them to Congress and to the American people.
It's very odd to me, given that that information doesn't belong to the executive branch. The executive branch actually works for the public. It's our information. And if the right place for it now is so that the people's representatives can get a better understanding of what the threat to the United States is, I don't see any valid reason for holding it back. And certainly, I haven't heard any legally compelling, articulated reason for holding it back.
I brought it up to Director Mueller and to Attorney General Holder, requesting the documents for members of Congress to look at that were provided in discovery to the defendants in the Holy Land Foundation trial. And I've been given, had these brick walls thrown up. Well, we may not be able to disclose that. They gave them to the terrorist supporters. The terrorists all have those discovery documents. Why can't members of Congress? When I hear an Attorney General of the United States come before us and say, somewhat cavalierly, there is a political aspect to this office, it offends me beyond belief. Your job is justice, Mr. Attorney General. It's justice across the board. And that is what's been so troublesome around here. When we made a request a year ago here for the documents that your department has produced to people who were convicted of supporting terrorism. They're terrorists. And we wanted the documents you gave to the terrorists. We're a year later and we still don't have them. Why in the world would your department be more considerate of the terrorists than of the people who are members of Congress who can vote to just completely defund your department? It makes no sense. So I will ask again, and there is no room for a response that, well, it's an ongoing investigation, well, some of these may be classified. I'm asking for the documents your department produced to the terrorist supporters convicted in the Holy Land Foundation trial. Can we get those documents, just the ones that you gave to the terrorist defendants?
Journalists have tried to get those records. Members of Congress have tried to get those records. Members of the Intel Committee have tried to get those records, tried to get those Muslim Brotherhood documents released. But they won't release them. The Obama administration is clinging on to them for dear life. Why? Because if they release those records, my opinion is that the entire house of cards will fall.
The story here is that the only thing that stops people from doing harmful things to the country and that activates them to take the measures that need to be taken to protect the country is political pressure that really comes from the American people. And if it happens, we could see a lot of very favorable policy change. If it doesn't happen, if we all remain asleep and blind, we could have some dark days ahead.
When it comes to where we stand and whether they've won or not, I always say, and now I have the right to kind of say it, having become an American, America is not where I live. America is it's not Washington, it's not New York, it's not LA. America is everything in between. It's that part of the country that is, derisively called the flyover states. I'm always confident about this great nation because there's one thing that defines the people in those states. It's common sense. Sooner or later, Joe Sixpack says, hang on, something's not right here.